because there is a shroud of some negativity. People think when it's herbal medicine, then it may not be suitable for consumption. Some people.
Yeah, so welcome to Rafamallgh.com. It's a pleasure having you here. As we promised you, this week we are coming to Center for Plant Medicine Research. Now, it's one of the finest research institutions in regards to the use of plant medicine, and we have a short interview with the head of production here in the person of Dr. Doris Kumadoh, who is also a pharmacist by profession. So we want to engage her shortly in regards to good manufacturing practices, because we know that people are moving towards the natural forms of treatment, and we have to ensure that people who produce the drugs for us are doing it according to the specification, the guidelines prescribed by the regulatory bodies here in Ghana, including the Food and Drugs Authority. So without wasting much time, let's go to meet the person of Dr. Doris Kumadoh, and let's explore this subject matter.
It encompasses all the practices you will do to make sure that the herbal medicine you are producing is of the required quality. So basically, they will say it is everything you do to prevent any risk that may be in the product that you cannot test. Like that's after the production, you should be able to prevent. So it's like a preventive measure to make sure that the product is of the required quality, so that you don't wait when you finish everything. It's now that you go and test the product and the product is of low quality. Okay, so herbal medicine, as we know, if we say a product is a herbal medicine, it means that it is from, at least it has a plant component in it. That means any part of the plant. And we all know that the plant material will be the starting product. So it means that, in effect, the material you are starting with should be of the required quality. You know, plants grow in the air, it is in the environment, so there may be contamination from organisms and all those things. So in the beginning, the raw material you are starting with, you must make sure that it is of the required quality. You got it from a good source. They have not sprayed it, no pesticide residues and all that. Then after that, now you come to the production process proper, where you dry your materials, where you mill your materials. You want to prevent contamination, which is introducing a foreign particle or product into your material. And then you also want to prevent cross-contamination, in which case if you are doing two different herbal products, you don't mix them up. And then you want to prevent confusion too, where two different products are mixed up unintentionally. Yes, so that is the first stage. The second stage, which is the starting of the production process. Then when you come into production of, let's say, the liquids, which are decoctions, the powders and all that, the containers and everything you use for your production must be clean. You must make sure that they are clean, free from all dirt, contamination and everything. And then most importantly, you must make sure you document every procedure you use, so that your formulation will always be consistent, to be of standard. So today you don't produce something that is of low quality, then the next day is of high quality. So the documentation is also very, very important. Then where you are producing the medicine, which is the premises, must also be of a very good standard. And then the personnel working, you must train them, make sure they are able to do the right thing. They know all the steps that they need to take to be able to do what they are supposed to do. And then when you finish the production process, after going through all the process, you must check your product for quality. You must have some tests that you do to ensure that your medicine is how you intended it to be from the beginning. It doesn't have any microbial contamination. It doesn't have bad consequence which can affect the health of people. So I think in a nutshell, I've tried to summarize everything about the good manufacturing practices, the steps that you need to take that meets the regulatory body, let's say FDA guidelines. So it is safe. First of all, let it be safe. Let it be safe so that when people take it, they won't have any other effects. Because if it is not safe, then the work it is going to do, it will give the person another problem. So if it is not safe, then you cannot say it is quality. And then if the claim you have put on the product, maybe it's a supplement for helping improve blood sugar control and all those things, it must be able to do that consistently. You must be able to do that consistently. And then it must have properties too that are convenient for the patient. So when the patient takes it, the patient should appreciate the product is taking and be able to identify with it.
What has been some of the huge challenges, and how were you be able to come out with a solution to be able to overcome such problem in terms of the process of producing the quality, safe and efficacious products? What have been some of the difficulties that you have really encountered, and how were you able to solve it?
So I will go to the side of herbalists, because most herbalists come to the center for help with their preparations and how to make sure their preparations of the required quality. And then, so I realized there is a major problem with being able to preserve the products, herbal products, properly. Yes. And so with that, you will need to do some small study, yes, to check whether your preservative that you are using, in fact, the preservative is what you use to prevent the product from spoiling. So whenever the herbalists prepare their product, some of them are not able to use the correct preservative, so the products end up spoiling. So when they bring their products for testing, they end up failing over and over and over again. So that one is a challenge I realize occurs a lot with the herbalist, and it's a constant challenge. But then the way to address this is that as a herbalist, whichever preservative that you have been guided to use, you must check if it is suitable for the particular herbal product. If for nothing at all, after you use the preservative, keep samples of the product to check after, say, a month, 3 months, 6 months, to see whether the product is as you began or there has been a change in color, in taste, in its nature, in its smell, so that you know whether the product is still safe and that whether the preservative has been able to work on your liquid product as you desire. So I think that is one challenge which I'll go to the side of the herbalist, because they need this information more. Yes.
Thank you so much. I hope we are learning something small. As someone who aspires to go into the field of herbal production, or you're already in it, and you will seek to maybe get some answers to some few challenges that you encounter in the process of your production. Yes, doctor. So we want to find out what are some of the regulatory bodies guidelines in regards to the production of quality, safe and efficacious herbal preparations.
Okay. So when you come to the herbal medicine industry, if you are going to the production line, then the main regulatory body you deal with is the Food and Drugs Authority of Ghana. They give the requirements or the guidelines for the registration of herbal medicinal products. And you would have to make, if you want to sell any herbal products or produce any herbal product, you would have to first make sure the product is registered with the FDA before you can market or sell that product. And so per their guidelines, they are also, of course, concerned about the quality of the product. So they also have some tests they will expect, some documentation they will expect that you add to your product before you submit it, which includes analysis of the safety, that is the toxicology, or you test them in animals to see whether they are safe, they won't kill anybody, they won't cause any great harm to any organ in the body. And then you test phytochemical constituents to check whether it has safe phytochemical constituents or it has any phytochemical constituent at all to be qualified as a herbal product. And then microbial contamination to make sure it is safe at the levels that are good for public health safety. Then they have other tests like the evidence of claim. If you claim that your product is meant for a particular disease, they may require you to submit documentation to back that, which may involve the request for clinical evidence to show, clinical trial or evidence to show that indeed the product can cure such diseases. There are other tests, they may require you to also add some stability studies if you want to register the product, and a host of other tests.
So how long does all these requirements take place averagely?
In actual fact, they themselves may require you to do all these tests in another institution before you submit those reports to them for them to do the registration. So for their registration, I am not able to tell how long it will take, because it will depend on what reports you submit, and it may go and come back, because sometimes they may request for more documentation to be able to finish it up. So if you liaise with them, the quicker you submit what they ask you for, the faster it will be. Yes, so normally they will ask you to submit samples of the product together with samples of your labels, your packaging material. They will sit down and review it. If they review it, they get back to you if there are any queries. If there are no queries, they go ahead straightforward and do your registration for you after you've submitted all the documentation and the necessary items.
Wow. I hope you find this information very needful and helpful.
What I want to say about these claims that are always being made is that it requires a lot of study to be able to pinpoint and say that it is herbal medicine that is causing maybe a particular kidney or liver disease. Let's face the fact, even all orthodox medicines and every medicine in general has side effects and adverse effects. If you don't manage the use, it can cause damage to your organ. So the fact that somebody is asked whether he took herbal medicine or not, and the claim, and because the person said he took herbal medicine, it is assumed that because the person took herbal medicine, that is why he has gotten the kidney disease. I think we can't just say it like that. It requires a lot of study. That is one. The second point is that in all our processes, we must know that currently there are a lot of chemical compounds around. Pesticide residues, heavy metals, contaminations, and all around us. Even with the galamsey issue and the water bodies. So a lot of heavy metals and all those things may be getting into some of our materials that we use to produce our medicines. So then it means that we should be more careful when we are producing and where we get our yes, because those things can cause such problems too if they are found as contaminants in herbal medicines. So those are the two things I want to say. It is up to us to be more careful to make sure we have the public safety in mind in everything that we do.
To people watching us, people who are using herbal medicine, what advice or what can you tell people in regards to the usage of herbal medicine in Ghana here?
Yes. What I would like to say is that herbal medicine is here to stay. Whether we like it or not, eventually, most people have realized that they get more relief from natural medications. So herbal medicine is here to stay. It is up to us to use it in a way that will not go overboard. Let's use all medicines wisely, including herbal medicines. Let's use them for the claim for which they have been advertised or sold, so that we don't have any problems later with any of the organs in our body. Yes, so I think it's very, very important that we all make a conscious effort, those of us who are producing, those of us who are using it, that we do the right things, and then we help the herbal medicine industry grow as it should. Because there is a shroud of some negativity. People think when it's herbal medicine, then it may not be suitable for consumption, some people. But I would like all of us to encourage ourselves that we can continue to try to make it better from where it is now.
Okay, so thank you so much. We have come to the end of our interview with Dr. Doris Kumadoh, who is the head of production department here at Center for Plant Medicine Research, also a pharmacist by profession. It was so enlightenment and great expose like that we have had here. In fact, if you don't remember anything at all, for myself, I've learned that the good manufacturing practices, if you want to go into production, okay, these are preventive things, and as we always know, prevention is always better than cure. See, in order not for your product to be rejected by the regulatory bodies like the Food and Drugs Authority, it's better to stick to the good manufacturing practices. These are preventive procedures, okay, and the first one of them, as she mentioned, is where you source your plant materials from. Because nowadays we have the issues of galamsey, and you know that they use so much heavy metals in some of these operations, and these can get into our plant materials. So getting them, using them preparation can end up hurting some people's health. So let's stick to some of these guidelines and follow us more, and we shall give you into more details as some of these guidelines and how to go about them. So thank you so much for also joining us, and we hope you have had a great time with us. Thank you so much, and thank you, Dr. Doris, for your time and your knowledge that you've given to us and our viewers. Thank you so much.
You are most welcome.